flow testing, and more. Keep your property free from leaks and other issues. Call today for a free estimate at 402-560-6197. It's not just Lincoln, Waverly, and the surrounding area anymore. It's also Seward and Milford with no trip charges. Contact Select Plumbing to inquire at 402-560-6197.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. Now's the perfect time to get even stronger at Planet Fitness. Save $28 or more when you join today for just $1 down, $15 a month. Mix up your routine or create a customized workout plan with free fitness training. That's right. Certified trainers, unlimited sessions with best-in-class equipment. Plus, there's over 2,700 convenient locations to choose from, with most open 24 hours. Save $28 or more today when you join Planet Fitness for just $1 down, $15 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal ends April 11th. See Home Club for details.
Finally, a good reason to have a smart house. Just say, Alexa, play 93.7 The Ticket, and we'll magically start playing. How's it work? Nobody knows. Don't ask questions.
Rashawn Jackson here for Bauer Infrastructure, a veteran-owned local company proudly serving Lincoln, Lancaster County, and the surrounding areas. Bauer provides quality work at an affordable price, and they're growing rapidly. If you want to experience a career with a fast-paced, family-friendly environment, visit BauerInfrastructure.com. They have top-of-the-line benefits, year-round work, even through the winter. Bauer, usher in the new era of infrastructure to an area near you. And as always, go Big Red.
Are you facing a legal problem and don't know where to turn? You need trial attorneys you can trust. Liberty Law Group's experienced trial attorneys will handle your case with professionalism and compassion. Whether you have been accused of a crime, injured in an accident, or threatened with a lawsuit, you can trust that Liberty Law will be there for you. Call for a free consultation and find out how Liberty Law can protect your rights and interests. That's 877-42-LIBERTY, 877-42-LIBERTY, or visit libertylawnebraska.com. Liberty Law Group, trial attorneys you can trust.
Take control of your health with the DASH scan at Advanced Medical Imaging. The DASH scan is a full-body MRI designed for advanced health screening. This dynamic approach provides exceptionally sharp images across multiple organ systems, helping to detect potential concerns early. With minimal radiation and no invasive procedures, the DASH scan offers a safe, comprehensive look at your health. Plus, results are delivered faster than ever, giving both patients and physicians confidence in screening and diagnosis. Your health is too important to wait. Schedule your DASH scan today at Advanced Medical Imaging. Visit amimaging.com or call 402-484-6677 to learn more.
A smoke-free environment is the only way to fully protect from the dangers of secondhand smoke. That's why smoke-free policies are so important to me. Whether it's in my car, apartment building, or when I'm dining outdoors, there's no place for secondhand smoke or e-cigarette aerosol. Breathe easier knowing the facts. Visit smokefree.ne.gov. Paid for by Tobacco Free Nebraska. Aired with the Nebraska Broadcasters Association and this station.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up? Foreman and Orman, Old School, back in effect here on a Wednesday. I guess it's hump day. You know, the way stuff's going, every day is hump day, Austin. We got to get over the hump, man. Got to keep fighting. We are brought to you by the Mercado, Certified Piedmontese, Special Ingredients and Butcher Shop, 84th and Havelock, 30th Yankee Hill.
85th and Old Cheney.
85th and Andremat, 168th and Maple. I'm not changing that. Every type of meat, every type of cut, man. This is a top 10 grill day, probably.
Yeah. Not windy.
No
warm.
wind. Not the Nebraska wind. Not 70,
not that hot.
Not 70 degrees and 70 mile an hour winds. Won't blow your flame out or blow, make your coals go haywire and stuff like that. It's top 10 grill day. And you get today, like, I don't know, pork chops.
Ooh.
Something like that.
What are you doing with the pork chops?
I don't know, man. I haven't even thought about what I'm going to do.
Just worried about the grill right now. One thing at a time.
It just might one of the day just go in there and just close your eyes. I'd go into the Mercado and just say, hey, no, I go right to the butcher shop. That's the main mess I want the head butcher back. Say, man, You pick for me.
Mm.
That's the type of stuff they got. Because every time you leave, you know it's going to be good work.
It's true.
We're still waiting on Jake Sorensen to give us that
Shocker.
Jay Foreman code.
Shocker. Interesting.
Yeah. Where you at, Jake? I'm gonna call you. You know what? Every day I'm gonna call you out on there. Then I'm gonna text
5 p.m. call outs.
And I'm texting you at whatever time their show's on too.
6 in the morning.
6 in the morning.
You know you're up.
Out on the hour too.
6, 7, and 8.
And then
and maybe once after the show at 9.
And then we're gonna have Dixon text in one.
He texted Jake or he texted Stray?
oh man. All we got is to wait for Dave from Renew to text in talking about his steak dinner.
You grilling for Dave tonight?
Nah, man, he said he on injured reserve. Plus,
Dave, that's too bad, man.
Plus, I got bamboozled. You know,
Stray.
You know how they know that I'm gullible. He's like, hey, dude, we got a master thing going on. Yeah, you want to try to hit me off again? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, he probably wanted like sushi or something off of that.
At least he asked and didn't tell you had a master's thing going on.
He didn't have me in 3 or 4 weeks in, and I'm taking L's upon L's, and like, you know, then I'm in recovery mode.
Right.
Yeah, and depending on James Franklin.
Tough place to be.
Yeah.
Don't put yourself there.
Yeah, it's tough, man, and a tough place to be, really, to be honest with you, Austin. With the draft coming up is right about now. This is hard right now. Just because it's getting close. You almost forget how good you are at some point at this point. You know, you think about like Shedeur Sanders, right? Everything that he's done is meet expectations and perform. But now you're at the point where you're hearing everything that you might not get drafted, you know, top like 5. You might go down to the end of the first round. And no matter what you tell yourself, you still are probably having more of the doubt in your head. Like, why? Because in his mind, you know, there is factors, there's politics. So, you know, a lot of people are probably getting back at his dad and all that stuff. And, you know, I've dealt with a little bit of that, and that's just part of the bad part of, and I don't even know if it's that much of a bad part. It's just part of what things that you deal with of being associated with his dad. Obviously, you know, his dad, I mean, he's his son. But then, you know, a big part is like he's thinking like in his mind, he's looking at the quarterback situations at some of the teams that potentially could or should draft him. He's knowing he's better than what they have and what they have had. And, you know, sometimes decisions aren't made, you know, on the field. They're made upstairs or the play on the field, or, you know, the decisions are made, you know, outside of the football, I guess, stadium, or you know, and the reason why I say that is I remember with David Carr and Julius Peppers, and I love David Carr. He was great. He was, first of all, coming from Fresno State, he was a great teammate. That's most important.
You should have lined up a tight end and chipped for him a time or two.
Me?
Yeah.
It wouldn't have helped if you put Mark Bavaro, Gronkowski. We weren't blocking a soul. You could put the best blocking tight end out there. There was holes everywhere. Hey, what's that? What was that game? Ollie Oxenfree? Yeah, there was it. It was like 1, 2, 3, bum rush the court. I guarantee you, players were more mad that they weren't hitting incentives against us versus whether because you knew you were winning. You felt like you let them go away, let a game go away if you didn't get, you know, if you 2 or 3 sacks. And but really with David Carr, and then I think Julius Peppers was in that draft. And it came down to, you know, being the first picked in Houston's history. I think Joey Harrington was in that draft, right? And David Carr obviously had more potential and talent, arm talent, better athlete. You know, David was a great athlete, or is a great athlete. Or
those are the top 3 picks. David Carr 1, Julius Peppers 2, Joey Harrington 3.
Right. But I think when it came down to it, David Carr separated himself and the potential, right? Was, you know, the coach that had coached some great players before. But then, you know, Julius Peppers, you know, he came, you know, from North Carolina and you know, didn't do a lot of interviews and had dreads and all that. And so essentially and he's obviously
converted basketball guy.
Right. But just was, you know, now you're thinking like you're not even looking on the field, and he turns into a Hall of Famer. And he would have been a Hall of Famer even if he came to Houston. Because when he get to Carolina Panthers, wasn't that much better than us.
Right.
To be honest with you. So, you know, you miss out on that. But it was really based, and this is not, it has nothing to do with David, where David was married. Baby on the way, great family, great, mom and dad. His dad is cool as a fan. Really cool dude, man. He never seen him without a tan. And but the face of your franchise. So that's what, when you look at this draft, guys sometimes get drafted maybe a little bit higher, but a lot of it has to do with, the perception and what sells tickets and all that. And
it's fair, but it's not fair because it's a
not
business.
Fair. Yeah, because it's not.
But
I mean, it's no different than sometimes guys make teams and get released, and it has nothing to do with play on the field.
Right.
And that's no different with drafts. And there's a lot of great players that can get drafted here, but when you look at a really good player, Shedeur Sanders versus Cam Ward, you could argue why you would pick Shedeur over Cam based on the situation that he's grown up in since he's probably been in 4th grade. So there's not going to be more pressure on him that he's had to face at an early age versus like Cam Ward. Some of the things,
different kinds of pressure,
right? But it's the outside pressure.
Yeah.
Performance, he's already done it.
Right.
Whereas like Cam Ward's never dealt with this type of pressure.
Sure.
On this type of magnitude to lead a franchise, he's had, Shedeur's had to lead a program for very, ever since he's been in high school, even in the Christian high school that he went to and won state titles. So, and then there's big name players. You got to think you're talking about the 2 quarterbacks, but the best player in the draft is Travis Hunter, and you hardly hear anything about him right now.
Mm-hmm.
Very rarely do you get the luxury that you don't got to really work out. And we talked about Nebraska Pro Day. I think everything was on the line when, long ago when I did my pro day and, some of the other guys that I was able to, go in the draft with. But times has changed, but you got a great player in Travis Hunter that's kind of being overshadowed by the quarterback situations, some of the free agency situations, Abdul Carter. But here's Travis Hunter who's done something that nobody has done in quite a long time and being dominant at 2 high-profile positions, and you hardly hear anything.
So let's think about this through the Tennessee Titans lens. Then, number one, we are both rooting for them to make a very bad decision. We like Tennessee making bad decisions.
Yeah.
So let's just get that out of the way.
They need.
But
Will Levis is great.
I agree. I mean, pay that man, extend him at least 3 more times. But do you think Tennessee is in control of the narrative, such as it is around the draft, that they're going quarterback? Who are they going with? Maybe it's Cam Ward now. Seems like Shedeur's fallen off. Or do you think Tennessee likes that? Does your gut tell you it's a smokescreen from them and they're going to go with the best player available in Travis Hunter?
I think it's a smokescreen. I think that they're going to go with Travis Hunter. I think they like all the talk with the quarterback. If they have a change of heart, I think they trade down and accumulate a ton of draft picks because they're still, obviously need to, get better. You've seen that when they traded their starting middle linebacker to Dallas, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they spent a lot of money on him, and so to give him away, and then they traded the Jones linebacker in the middle of the season. So you're seeing that what they're doing is they're giving away good players at the peak of their career, or almost peak of their career, and obviously to accumulate draft picks and to build with a low salary cap number because you don't have any veteran players making a lot of money or very few. See what they can do. Now, Travis Hunter, I think fits Tennessee. He's a country kid, very simple, wants to play football. I think
he's
fish and not out there, and is very marketable in his own way. And I think he would do well there. And I think all of them would, but particularly, I think it's a great match. Now, if they do it, I think it's a good choice. Now,
if they don't do it, can they still get it right?
They can, because you could get Abdul Carter, which is crazy because it was one of the guys I saw early in the year that's like, oh, no, it's a lock. Abdul Carter's going number 1. And he might be it. I mean, you're thinking Micah Parsons, and all that. I don't see Micah Parsons. I see potentially. I see a great athlete. I think Micah Parsons was probably more dominant, and I think
much. I mean, Micah Parsons is one of the best prospects to come out of college,
right? And high school too.
Yeah.
But I think Abdul Carter could pay dividends. But I think also the defensive coordinator with Dan Quinn, with Micah Parsons, and the other people with with Lawrence down there,
sure,
really helped him to essentially be
Mhm.
focused and destroy everything.
Mhm.
Now, Tennessee has Jeffrey Simmons in the inside. You could do it, but you're not going to win big in this league without a quarterback. That's where Tennessee has to weigh whether it's Will Levis or whoever, can they win enough games to get us to next year? If they don't, so that's what they're weighing.
Mhm.
You had to do advanced scouting on these guys coming in next year. You got to whereas this year, and then you got to weigh Travis Hunter, Abdul Carter, Ward, and Sanders. You got to do all that. Now, what they do this year will actually tell you what their plans are for next year.
Mhm.
And that's where in the catch-22, because they don't have really, a number one receiver either.
They did trade him away. AJ Brown.
Right. So they don't. Right. So now you're like, okay, say they do draft one of the quarterbacks.
Who's he throwing to?
Right. Or do you somehow draft Travis Hunter, trade a second and third to get back in the first round, and hope you get Jackson Dart or the kid from Louisville,
Ooh.
or
Mm.
somehow get up and get Shador Sanders.
You and I both watched Tennessee, and they are not ready to do that right now.
Right, but then there's a lot of pressure for them to get it right.
The biggest problem, I think, with so many of these teams, Jay, is that if you're bad enough to pick a quarterback, you probably need help everywhere else too.
Oh yeah.
So do you take?
You're not a quarterback away.
No,
yeah.
you're very rarely a quarterback away in the NFL. You can talk yourself into it, but you're probably not.
Right.
The problem is if you get a quarterback and he's good early, he's probably going to elevate you to mediocrity, where it's harder to find some of these impact players at other positions, and vice versa. If you say, well, we don't like any of the quarterbacks in this class, maybe we'll give the guys next year a chance to develop, but really we're looking 3 years out for a quarterback, same sort of thing. You raise the floor of your team, you're picking in the middle, where then you have to spend some of that draft capital that you've been hitting on, where you need to fill out the rest of your roster to go trade back up to number 1 or 2 or 3 to get the quarterback that you want.
Yeah,
it's hard to have these cycles line up to where you're picking a quarterback and the pieces around him at the perfect time.
Right, because that means you're trying to project who's going to be good, who's going to be bad.
Yeah.
And they have to be good and bad to for it to, and they can't do any trades.
Right.
Right. They're trading, as though everything lined up, win losses and all that stuff. Well, somebody that's, picking high will trade just because, they have a little bit more time. So I always look at it like you just take the best player. And in my opinion, it's Travis Hunter. He's been the best player for obviously all last year, questionable the year before if he was the best player. And then if not, then you got to do position of need. If you like a quarterback, you can never draft a quarterback too high if you like him. That's my opinion. Now people get into whether you draft him too high, and you got the Raiders a couple of years ago where they took Farrell and Leatherwood and all that, and those were second round stretches, and you took them for. If Shador Sanders and Ward go high in the top 6, you won't have much conversation as to why.
The other thing I'm curious to see if NFL teams start changing their tune about is taking a quarterback in back-to-back years. You didn't get that exactly with the Cardinals, but they took Josh Rosen and Kyler Murray.
Pretty much
back-to-back.
Yeah, and got rid of one.
It got rid of one.
That's a change in GM. That's a change in GM.
It was.
But then also Josh Rosen as well. And you can do it. I think more now, I don't mean to cut you off, is the Giants. Yeah. What do they do? And it's not draft, it's free agency.
Mm-hmm. Because here's the thing. If quarterback is so important, why are you only drafting one every 5 years that you think has a chance to be successful, right? If you let's say you're the Giants and you take Shador Sanders. If he works out, hey, great, you hit on him. If he doesn't work, take another guy. If he's that bad and you're picking high again next year. We worry so much about, is he looking over his shoulder? Are you giving him room to grow? I'm not saying that's an invalid concern, but sometimes you need competition, right? Go get another guy in there, because if quarterback is so important, you swing at that pitch until you hit that pitch because you need to hit it.
Yeah, and quarterback is a hard position to evaluate because you need other people around
Hardest
you.
Position to evaluate?
Well, to hit on. I mean, there's so many busts because they talk themselves into everything that's not true. Oh, you get what I'm saying?
Project. Yeah.
Oh, he's going to get more accurate. Oh, he's going to be that more invested. The bigger problem is you could have a prospect. Okay, let's look at David Carr, right? I lived this,
Yeah.
David needed a Jameis Winston, or who was a great veteran when they handed over, like Kurt Warner to Eli. That you needed that.
Mm-hmm.
We cut Kent Graham, who was a professional. He was a 10-year vet, played it for the Giants, would have showed him how to work, how to like read defenses, and maybe eventually David took over later in his first year, in his rookie year. Well, and how to maybe get the ball out of your hands and maybe, you know, give some suggestions to the offensive coordinator that fit David, so he could have more success early in his career and not get destroyed. 82 sacks and who knows, probably 4 times a minute hit. That's
in 16 games. Let's remember
so
folks.
That's what you live. But then when you turn the keys over to him and he doesn't know how to be a professional, well, that's why it's hard, because now everybody's looking at David Carr blaming him. Well, yeah, we got Andre Johnson later, you know, year 3 or 4, but he already accumulated all those hits and all that you know, mental anguish up until then. Whereas when you look at Jaden Daniels, okay, what did they do? They invested in an offensive line that actually, right, got him 2 or 3 running backs, right? You got Zach Ertz, you got McLaurin,
Eckler's a free agent.
And then you invested on the defense. There goes the success, right? Yeah, you got rid of Dotson, but then you had some other guys step up, right? So that and then also you married your offense to what he did in college. That didn't happen in Houston. So now you're seeing instant rookie success versus not. You look at you know, Hurts, right? You know, up in Philly, they ran a lot of RPOs when he started to get out. Now, he didn't do it his rookie year, but when they really said, all right, you're going to be our guy, what'd they do? So that's where I say you miss on a lot of court, because there's so much pressure. And you got to perform to the price tag. And also the worst thing about it is if you're in that RG3 Kirk Cousins or another rookie does something, now you're fighting against something that is not apples to apples.
Yeah.
It's no different than here in college. You get a freshman quarterback come in, and then you have a freshman play. Well, then you got to perform like somebody else. It's no different than Kirk Cignetti going to Indiana, having success, and then you got to be success as when you're a first-year coach because he did it.
And you're not the same person.
You're not
different
the same person.
circumstances.
It's not the same circumstances or expectations or standards, and it's not all, you know, not all created equal. So, quarterback is a hard position because you never know what somebody's made of until they start getting hit. I mean, you got to think like in NFL execs that talk themselves into it. Like with Will Levis, they're like, "Oh, we already know he's tough because he got hit all the time in college." That's a plus, because he had a really good junior year. Now look, Wando Robinson left and the running back left and all that. So, but did his decision making get better? What did he get better at? They never mention that. They talk about the amount of hits of it. So they will talk themselves into drafting you higher than you should, and sometimes they will talk themselves out of drafting you where you should and be in a situation where you won't be successful. Because a lot of the success of a quarterback is based on who's you know, getting you the pieces around you. Yeah, I mean, Ben Roethlisberger, when he came in as a rookie and having veterans everywhere, perfect.
Different game.
Peyton Manning as a rookie, you had Marshall Faulk. If he didn't have Marshall Faulk, sure, Peyton Manning would have been great, but it sped up his success rate.
If he hadn't had Marshall Faulk, maybe he'll pick him off a couple more times.
I didn't pick Peyton off.
That's why I said a couple more.
Peyton he's petty, man. He was so mad that we beat the brakes off him in the national championship. He threw at me every time he could. He did. I know he did. He's that mad. And I didn't even do anything to him.
Did you see, speaking of 42-17, Nebraska men's basketball finished Sunday on a 42-17 run to win the crown?
That was magical.
I was saying 42-17 stood out, Jay.
Yeah.
You're familiar with those numbers.
I am. We should have beat them 42-0.
Who took the foot off the gas?
T. Martin came in at the end and put in some numbers. He was a problem.
T. Martin was a problem in college.
Plus, they had too much talent, but Peyton was petty, man. He was petty. You know, he can give a brother a break. I'm starting to think.
If you walk up to him at next Super Bowl and say, "I'm Jay Foreman," you think you admit how petty he was?
He would. Yeah, he knows. I knew him when Archie was at the Vikings and he would be running around. Big head. So
not even a 5 head, not even a 6 head. Just keep going.
he's cold-blooded though, man. He's cold-blooded.
Too cold, some might say.
He would, man. The thing about Peyton, he gets so mad when he get hit. He would. I mean,
Jeff Saturday, come here, sort of thing.
Oh, he went off on Jeff Saturday one time. I hit him. He kind of got past Jeff Saturday. He was so mad, like he wanted to start crying. Like seriously. Like you know what I mean? I mean, because we were hitting him and he wasn't, whatever. But yeah, so I mean, the draft coming up is a hard time, man. It's a long week, especially if you're, a lot of guys that the top half of the first round probably know they're going first round. Really know. There's agents out there that told about 100 guys that could potentially go first round.
Milroe got the green room invite.
Yeah, and see, that's what I don't like. That's just so he looks stupid.
You're playing with a kid.
You're gonna be like McElroy from Texas A&M that didn't get drafted. You're gonna be in there stuck on stupid. I wouldn't go.
You're a fringy first rounder at best, and some teams telling you.
Now, unless you're paying me some money,
right?
Because I'd sit up in there and kick it too. I'd be ordering room service or Uber Eats.
I doubt.
Oh man, but yeah. Well, we're gonna order right now. We're gonna go to break. Come back. We'll talk about what it's like to be a mid-round pick and what that means. The day was that day 2. Day 2, day 3. We only had 2 days of misery, Austin. Now they string it out.
Right.
Yeah, it's like the water treatment. Dropping a drop of water, you're 10 feet high. It's just pain and agony. But we're gonna take a quick break. Jay Foreman, Austin Orman, Old School. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Old School with Jay Foreman and Austin Orman. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Mike, the insurance company wants us to replace the roof.
Wait, what? I thought everything was fine.
Yeah, it says right here our roof is too old and they won't be able to cover us anymore.
I guess it is 15 years old. Hi, I'm Austin with Roofing Service Company. We help homeowners with their roofing and siding projects. Financing options are available, and we can get you under a new roof no time at all. If this sounds like you, visit roofingservicecompany.com. That is roofingservicecompany.com.
Buckle up and hang on. This is going to be a good one.
The fans of Kansas Speedway know how to have a good time. One that celebrates fantastic finishes.
Clash together. So close.
And family-friendly facilities. Trading paint.
We got feuding.
And tailgating tradition. Burnouts. Beer. And barbecue. Oh, it'll for sure be a good time. And you are all invited. NASCAR weekend at Kansas Speedway, May 9th through the 11th. Get your tickets now at kansasspeedway.com.
Garage doors can break down or quit working at the worst times. At Doors Plus, they understand that a broken garage door sometimes means repair and not replace. Sometimes, all you need to make your door like new again is a few bolts, a realignment, or even a new balance. Trust the pros at Doors Plus to handle your garage door repair the right way so you can get on with your busy schedule. Visit them online at DoorsPlusLLC.com or give them a call today at 402-590-5800. Doors Plus. Garage doors and more.
Take control of your health with the DASH scan at Advanced Medical Imaging. The DASH scan is a full-body MRI designed for advanced health screening. This dynamic approach provides exceptionally sharp images across multiple organ systems, helping to detect potential concerns early. With minimal radiation and no invasive procedures, the DASH scan offers a safe, comprehensive look at your health. Plus, results are delivered faster than ever, giving both patients and physicians confidence in screening and diagnosis. Your health is too important to wait. Schedule your DASH scan today at Advanced Medical Imaging. Visit amimaging.com or call 402-484-6677 to learn more.
This is Monster Jam. Big air, backflips, and all-out racing. Monster Jam, as big as it gets. The fun begins at the pit party, where you can meet the drivers, get autographs, take pictures, and see the trucks up close. Get your pit party pass at monsterjam.com today. Must have valid event ticket to enter pit party. Restrictions may apply. Rules and activities are subject to change. Visit website for event details. Coming to Pinnacle Bank Arena April 18th through 19th.
Hey, you. Yeah, you. Now's the perfect time to get even stronger at Planet Fitness. Save $28 or more when you join today for just $1 down, $15 a month. Mix up your routine or create a customized workout plan with free fitness training. That's right, certified trainers, unlimited sessions with best-in-class equipment. Plus, there's over 2,700 convenient locations to choose from, with most open 24 hours. Save $28 or more today when you join Planet Fitness for just $1 down, $15 a month. Cancel anytime. Deal ends April 11th. See Home Club for details.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
With UBT, you've got total control over your money. Like Doug, who runs his game day tailgate like a well-oiled machine.
I got burgers, brats, chicken, dogs, plus all the fixins. And with the UBT Go app, I can track my food spending from anywhere.
Pro move.
They don't call me Grill Sergeant for nothing.
No matter your goals, UBT helps you feel good about reaching them. Union Bank and Trust. Member FDIC.
Back to old school on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Jay Foreman, Austin Norman, old school. We're back in effect. Talking to draft. And a lot of Nebraska players probably, going to get drafted. Hopefully all of them get drafted, but a few get drafted. Maybe day one, most likely day two. And as long as, I think the biggest part is like your representation has to be 100% honest with you and give you honest feedback and updates. I think the worst thing you could do as an agent is lie to your player and things don't work out. You got to think, what, and the reason why I say this is every player is thinking of the best case scenario. Because what they do is they go around, and I don't know who they are, the scouts or whatever, and they give about 96 guys potential first round grades.
And remind people how many first round picks there are every year.
I don't know, 32?
32.
Yeah. And that's just not the case. And, they say, oh, you can go between round 1 and 2. And some guys, they'll tell you, top 10, which is, Abdul Carter and all those guys. But there's a lot of guys out sitting around thinking that they could potentially go first round when there's no chance in hell they're going first round.
Yeah.
And that's where disappointment, frustration comes in. And that's where you got to make sure as an agent that you're realistic. And then also as a player to understand there's nothing wrong. First of all, it's a tremendous honor to get a shot in the NFL as a free agent or anything. Second of all, it's a huge honor to be drafted in any round. It's a true blessing to go, first, second, third, fourth round or any round. And so you just got to make sure that you're patient and then understanding that the draft is tricky. Like you could have the Ricky Williams trade or you could have a run on a position that nobody expected to happen, to be a position of need, or a lot of teams start picking, and that'll throw off the draft. And then you also got to look at supply and demand. Running back, if you're a running back and you're not one of the top 5-6 guys, you could be waiting quite a while, and it has nothing to do with how good you are. It just has to deal with there's a ton of running backs that have been very productive. And even though Saquon, brought the running back and Derrick Henry, there's a ton of really good running backs. You could find guys starting at the NFL in the 4th, 5th, 6th round.
Yeah.
That's how
very
deep they
easily.
are.
Yeah.
And so you got to be patient, and you got to, just continue with the confidence. And it's a long time because, it's been a long off season. Whereas like in college, you get out of the bowl game, you go home for a while, you go right into winter conditioning, then you go in, which I think they now, don't quote me on this, I think now, like when I played, once you're in winter conditioning, we did our own 7-on-7. I think the rules are a little bit more lax now that they get a little bit more on the field work. So you're right into football mode. Then you go into spring ball. So you have like football activities. You might play an all-star game, underwear Olympics real quick. You knock that out, pro day, and then now you're just chilling.
Yeah.
Not literally, but you're working out and then you're, and there's not as much thing. There's not another checkpoint. You're waiting for the draft. And for every report that says, you're going to get drafted at, now they're coming out of the mock drafts. Now you got to kind of there's 10 of them. Now you got to see. One might have you going first round, one might have you going fourth, and so you got to try to weigh it,
and that's on your agent too to figure out which of these guys writing these mock drafts are actually talking to GMs and who's just making it up on their own, because that's a huge difference.
And who your agent's talking to? Is he talking to a decision maker, or is he talking to a guy that's just giving him information? And so if you can do that. I mean, that's why agent is important, because he's got to really, really review the process with you. With if you're, I have a girlfriend or whatever, because it's emotional. And then more importantly, whoever is going to be around you and who you talk to on a regular basis. That's huge. Because, man, when I tell you Chuck Foreman got a crunk, hey,
capital C.
Oh my God.
Capital R, capital U, capital N, capital K.
He was like, hey man, you need to go step outside. I need to call this dude. And went off and came back. And when I got drafted, it was more relief, because I really wanted to get drafted and I knew I was good enough, and you had to wait a little bit longer. But once I got drafted, then that was the main focus. Even though I had to go to Buffalo.
Even though you got to go to Buffalo.
Even though I got to go to Buffalo.
You felt like you had to go to Buffalo.
Well, it's because
what was harder? Hearing Buffalo or hearing 5th round?
Oh, 5th round. I mean, it was late 5th round now. Come on now. It wasn't like the 4th round ended at pick whatever, and then 2 picks into the 5th round. There goes Jay Foreman. I'm like, I was thinking like, dang, if I don't go 6th round, we got to find out where the best fit is for priority free agent. Now there was a lot of picks left, but you just kind of wonder.
Well, there were a lot of picks before.
Who you telling? You living and dying by one, man. I swear to you, couldn't have told me that I wasn't going to be a Carolina Panther. You couldn't have told me I wasn't going to be at that time a Washington Redskin.
So how long before the pick does a team call you?
This depends.
Because it's not like when they're on the clock they give you that call, right? It's before that.
Yeah, I think it's a couple, like 5-10 minutes. And sometimes they're waiting to see. You might be like, I've heard stories that where they have 2 players on, on hold. Oh, we didn't pick. Sorry, dog. Heck, Carolina. I mean, I talked to Sam Mills was the linebacker coach. Rest in peace. He was great. He was really, really good to me, man, and really kept up with me even when I played. Because we played Carolina. And so the 3rd round went. The Ricky Williams trade kind of jacked everything up. And there was a couple. Philly picked a linebacker that I thought that I was just as good at. And then Cleveland, who had the hardest work. Yo, he destroyed me and Chad Kelsey. Annihilated us.
For nothing.
Hey.
For not a gosh dang thing.
In the cook, I would never forget it. I was hoping for a breeze. And I think we did our pro day inside, but it was hot outside. So it made it even worse because there was no air conditioning in there. Then Cleveland picked my man Wally. And then Cincinnati, I was like, all right, I had a good with Mark Duffner, and I don't know if they picked somebody. And then, of course, the Vikings. They picked a dude. I don't think they even went to the combine. And then at 4th round, the Redskins at the time picked a guy from Georgia Tech. And I was like, oh, hell no. I was like, I don't know where I'm going. Right? Because now you're thinking like all these teams pick guys.
They're not taking a redundancy.
Right. Where I fit in, because you got kind of a chart and all that. So it was late. Going that late was late. I think it was like a comp pick, probably. I was late. I think was it 156? Was I pick 156?
I'm looking it up. I'm going to trust that you know it because 56 is your number. Yeah, 156.
Yeah, that's what people always think. Like, where I was at 156. That's the number I always wanted to wear. Now I wore 55 in Buffalo because 56 was taken.
Who won the Super Bowl your rookie year?
St. Louis.
Yep. Yeah. Who was the offensive rookie of the year?
Was that Edrin? It was Edrin.
Is that?
Yeah. Yeah, it was Edrin.
Defensive rookie of the year.
I have no idea.
You know this guy. Ended up 3-time Pro Bowler, 1-time All-Pro.
Brian Urlacher.
Played for Tennessee and Philadelphia.
Oh, it was Javon Curse.
Javon Curse.
Yeah. See, because, it is the thing about the combine. You go to the combine and do well. Well, I ain't never heard of Javon Curse. because I looked at his stats, he really wasn't very productive.
Mhm.
Well, I didn't see because like he wasn't in our group. I bet you he was in the defensive end group. Well, then he was a linebacker, and I would have noticed 6'6" and ran a 4.3.
6'4", 265 running that fast,
Yeah,
right?
man.
You don't miss
like,
that.
I was like, yeah, that brother's going before me. Even though Florida had all the talent, but they were horrible that year. And then they had a dude named his last name is Rutledge. He was a linebacker. He went to Arizona, and he benefited off of playing with Mike Peterson, who went to Colts, who was great.
Mhm.
And I became friends. I love Mike.
How many NFL Hall of Famers in your draft class?
I don't know. I ain't go. That's all the one that matter.
2. You got Edge. The other guy was picked by Washington, 7th overall.
Really?
Also a defender.
Oh, Champ Bailey?
Champ Bailey.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Those are the 2 Hall of Famers from that class so far.
Yeah, I mean, it was, it's tough, man, when then you start thinking like, dang, maybe I should have left a year early because there was hardly any linebackers drafted the year before. And so you just got a promotion by just being there. I already been in college 4 years, so. But then the stars align. You go to places like Buffalo. The reason why Buffalo was hard is just because I was so dumb thinking I wanted to try to dictate where I wanted to go. Like I didn't want to go to a cold city. I've been playing in cold football since I've been in high school.
Right.
And now I want to go somewhere. I think I would need to go to
all that hard work. I deserve to kick it. Come on.
Yeah. And then it was great. I was able to go and cut my teeth up there, but it was a long wait that day. Now then it became all worth it, right? Because my grandma was alive at the time, and and I was I was just chilling in the room. My grandfather used to, because when he was bedridden, my grandma took care of him, so I was down there trying to get kind of try to vibe with my grandfather, and he had some pictures of there because he served, and one of the pictures that he always made me kind of bring back to reality was that being an African American, the difference in the barracks, right? And I'm not big into it. I'm not trying to make it anything about all that, but it was different. It was like when the brothers was over here, it was hood. There, it was nice, but that also he used that to keep me grounded. Like, hey, the draft isn't over. You could get drafted. Appreciate getting drafted. 5 minutes later, the phone rang. Now, the phone rang with a 716 on my cell phone. Now, we got a house phone call from like somebody that in our hometown was like, hey, what's going on? Jay ain't get drafted yet. And then wanted to have a conversation. So then, because anytime the phone rang, I mean, everybody's like on pins and needles, right? Anytime the phone rang. And, I remember after the 3rd round, Carolina called, which was Sam Mills. He's like, we got 2 4th-round picks. He's like, I'm telling them I want to pick you. And we're going to pick a linebacker. And so if I have my way, we're going to pick you. And I believed him. I mean, he had no reason to lie to me or whatever. And they ended up picking Hannibal Navies, who ended up being a good player. But because he was more of an outside linebacker. You know what I'm saying? So they picked Hannibal. He called me, and then, one thing led to another. I almost thought I was going to go to the Jets.
J-E-T-S.
Yeah. Bill Parcells. See, Bill Parcells had some connection with my dad.
You've been with Wilts then, right?
Yeah. Jason Wilts went in the 4th round. So all my boys would get Big Booty Joe Makovic went in the 4th round. I'm sitting there chilling, and then Bill Parcells called, and the GM called, and he's like, "Hey, it's not where you start; it's where you finish." They end up taking somebody else in that draft. Go to Buffalo's, and better late than never. But it was long, man. It was long, and then it's kind of like then you go right to focused in on now you got to be now
got to make this team.
Yeah, and it was not set up for me to make it.
But you did.
Because Buffalo, they were like, we thought you were going to be gone a round and a half ago. You're the best player there. We got to take you. But we got 4 guys that we already under contract with. Good luck. Thanks for, but one of the things that it was funny.
Enjoy tonight.
Yeah. And, you fly back to Nebraska because they call you where they're going to fly out rookie minicamp. But Chuck Lester called me, and I don't know if he's still there. He was like, look, John Hollisteck just got paid. Sam Cowart was all rookie. Marlo Perry's our third down linebacker. And they had a dude, I think his name was Joe Cummings, who was kind of their special teams guru.
That Chuck?
Yeah, that's him.
He is not still with the Bills. Hilbert College Hawks.
Is he coaching?
Yes.
What is he coaching?
Senior assistant coach.
Yeah. And is that in Buffalo area? He's been up there forever.
Let's see.
And
Erie County. Yep.
Yeah, he's up there. He's a lifer. So he's been there forever. And he's like, listen, he's like, I don't know how you're gonna make the team. Right. This is calling me, right? Because they passed the phone around. John Butler, the GM, Wade, Phillips, the head coach, Ted Cottrell, the defensive coordinator, Chuck Lester, assistant linebacker, whatever he was. He's like, I don't know how you're gonna make the team, but he's like, you know what? One thing we do is like we play all of our rookies a lot in the preseason. So if you don't make it here, you'll be. I'm like, damn, right?
Hilbert College is straight north of Hamburg.
Yeah, that's right in his area. So yeah, he's right. He's big. I mean, he's been there forever. He ain't gonna leave. And so.
Oh yeah, that's like just west of Orchard Park.
Right.
It's like right there.
Yeah. So he's probably staying in the same house, and so I didn't get on the plane to Buffalo thinking like this is gonna be sweet. And so the rookie minicamp was so you got to get, you got to fight your way on the team. And, I'm fortunate enough I was able to do something. And, Chuck Lester had one of the best quotes ever. When I always talk about people seasoning their meat, that dude ain't never had no seasoning on his meat. Matter of fact, we're gonna take a quick break because I always talk about Tim Brando. When you see Tim Brando dancing on the sidelines, and I talked to Tim Brando once. And I asked him, do you season your meat? And he looked at me. He's like, I do, right? I'm going to tell you a story about Chuck Lester, how I knew he had never been invited to the cookout. Jay Foreman, Austin Orman, we'll be right back.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with Foreman and Orman on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Monster Jam. Big air, backflips, and all-out racing. Monster Jam, as big as it gets. The fun begins at the pit party, where you can meet the drivers, get autographs, take pictures, and see the trucks up close. Get your pit party pass at monsterjam.com today. Must have valid event ticket to enter pit party. Restrictions may apply. Rules and activities are subject to change. Visit website for event details. Coming to Pinnacle Bank Arena April 18th through 19th.
Hey, what are you talking about over there?
Huh?
I said, what are you talking about?
You know, Bill, I think it's time for both of us to get our hearing checked. We should head over to Christensen Hearing Analytics.
Oh, yeah, I've heard about them. They offer a free hearing consultation and screening, affordable hearing aid prices, and a knowledgeable staff with over 30 years of experience.
Visit Christensen Hearing Analytics today in Williamsburg Village or give them a call at 402-489-3450. Christensen Hearing Analytics. A better life starts with better hearing.
Gaina Trucking is hiring CDL Class A and B drivers. Their strong team culture makes it not a job, but a career. Gaina Trucking offers health, vision, and dental insurance, 401k with company match, an employee assistance program, and other bonus programs. Build a better career today with great team culture at Gaina Trucking. Learn more and apply today at GainaTrucking.com.
Are you facing a legal problem and don't know where to turn? You need trial attorneys you can trust. Liberty Law Group's experienced trial attorneys will handle your case with professionalism and compassion. Whether you have been accused of a crime, injured in an accident, or threatened with a lawsuit, you can trust that Liberty Law will be there for you. Call for a free consultation and find out how Liberty Law can protect your rights and interests. That's 877-42-LIBERTY, 877-42-LIBERTY, or visit libertylawnebraska.com. Liberty Law Group, trial attorneys you can trust.
Take control of your health with the DASH scan at Advanced Medical Imaging. The DASH scan is a full-body MRI designed for advanced health screening. This dynamic approach provides exceptionally sharp images across multiple organ systems, helping to detect potential concerns early. With minimal radiation and no invasive procedures, the DASH scan offers a safe, comprehensive look at your health. Plus, results are delivered faster than ever, giving both patients and physicians confidence in screening and diagnosis. Your health is too important to wait. Schedule your DASH scan today at Advanced Medical Imaging. Visit amimaging.com or call 402-484-6677 to learn more.
Back to old school on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up? We're back. Jay Foreman, Austin Norman. I always talk about do they season their meat? And
You seasoning Chuck's on the grill tonight? You season for him?
Who? Yeah, Chuck Lester. I'm sure he knows how to. First of all, we in Buffalo with those wings. Man, them Buffalo wings up there. The best two things I ever had in Buffalo. The three is you get true. I'm sure there's a bunch of retired mafia people up there in Buffalo because you go and it'd be like a little house and it'd be a full restaurant and it'd be the best Italian food ever. Ever. And that's where, we'd go with linebackers and some of the veteran guys knew where to either send you or we'd go and do our thing. That's number one. Number two is Wegmans had these sandwiches that we'd get after a night out. It's essentially we used to call it the hangover medicine because by the time you would just be fine the next day at practice. They were awesome. Bread was great. Number three was Buffalo, the wings, and the true where it started. Then a blast blue or whatever. It was Buffalo had good food. But I always talk about seasoning your meat and stuff like that as a joke.
It's not a joke, Jack.
No. There's two things I know Chuck Lester's never, when I met him, hadn't done yet. And this is crazy because Ted Cottrell was the D coordinator. He had never been invited over to the cookout and played spades. No way. No way. Because I tell you what, Chuck would underbid his books or overbid his books and he'd get kicked off the table. And that is, you talk about pressure, making a game-winning free throw or a game-winning kick. When you're new to a spades table at a cookout, or somewhere, that's pressure because you better perform. Because not only do you got to live up to your partner's expectations, everybody else decided what they'll talk about with you when you leave. But Chuck Lester, obviously I was a late round draft choice. I played with, Dusty Renfro came in. Keith Newman was drafted in the 4th round. So we had some rookies and stuff. So he kind of coached and developed us, you know what I'm saying? Which is great. And Chuck obviously did a really good job. But we were at the point where we were going to our first road preseason game. Ted Cottrell's biggest thing that you had to do as a rookie is you couldn't forget the chicken. You had to bring the chicken. We didn't haze or anything like that. You had to
just bring the chicken.
We did pizza and wings on when we watched the game, and then chicken on the road games. And Ted Cottrell always got first dibs, always. So whether it's just for linebackers, and of course D linemen come in, rookies you get scraps. We were just getting our own single service, and everybody else had it. But so we're night before we're about to hit the road. It's the night game for the preseason. You know what I'm saying? The games are at night, and everybody's like, hey, Keith and Jay, who got which one of you guys you guys got your money right? Get the chicken. Da 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 da. Everybody's talking about this is what I want, and we're writing it down. Okay, Ted Cottrell's like, hey, don't mess up the chicken. Don't F up the chicken. What do we need? This, and this, and this. This
don't
how many
fry
biscuits.
Up the chicken.
Right. And Chuck Lester out of nowhere tried to chime in when he shouldn't have said anything. He's like, yeah. He's like, oh, I love that chicken. He's like, I love that place because it was a local place. He's like, they got spicy gravy. Yo, when I tell you that, which was great because the pressure of a rookie, because I wasn't making it was gone, and we weren't, we were not making that much money and stuff like that. And, you want to, heck, I didn't know if I was going to make the team.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm trying to save every dollar. The pressure went to Chuck. And they were like, oh, shut up, Chuck. Ted Washington was like, we know you ain't never been to the cookout. You ain't, matter of fact, you ain't never invited. He's like, come on, Rook. Come through for us. Spicy gravy.
Spicy gravy.
Yeah. Chuck Lester was all right, though, man. He was cool.
I would be a spicy gravy guy myself. I'm not going to lie. I would be Chuck Lester in this situation.
The best quote Chuck Lester ever told me about first couple of days of training camp. He's like, look, you're doing a great job running around making plays and hitting people. He's now we got to get you to do the right thing. Hey, Austin. He said, you doing everything else besides doing your job. He's like, come see me after practice, man. He's like, you hitting people. He's a guy. You busted about 5 coverages.
Bust some heads open and bust some coverages.
One thing I was gonna do, I was gonna pick out the biggest and baddest dude. But what I wasn't gonna do is cover the tight end to the flat. Anyway, Jay Foreman, Austin Over. We out of here, man.
Are you facing a legal problem and don't know where to turn? You need trial attorneys you can trust. Liberty Law Group's experienced trial attorneys will handle your case with professionalism and compassion. Whether you have been accused of a crime, injured in an accident, or threatened with a lawsuit, you can trust that Liberty Law will be there for you. Call for a free consultation and find out how Liberty Law can protect your rights and interests. That's 877-42-LIBERTY, 877-42-LIBERTY, or visit libertylawnebraska.com. Liberty Law Group, trial attorneys you can trust.
Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services is here to help you protect things that are most important to you. Whether it's your home, your family, or your future, Jack Russell has the proven experience to get the job done while developing authentic relationships with you. Give Jack a call today at 402-421-9100. Again, that's 402-421-9100. Or visit one of his 2 locations in Lincoln or Seward and learn how you can excel in the complicated world of insurance. Jack Russell of Farm Bureau Financial Services, a trusted and well-respected representative since 1999.
Spring is here. It's time to get back outside and into proper shoes this year. Brown's Shoe Fit is the place to buy this spring with their sale on athletic shoes. Get $15 off any regular priced athletic shoes with respected brands like Hoka, Brooks, New Balance, and On Running. And don't forget, Brown's carries a large arrangement of sizes and widths to fit your feet properly. Start your spring off right at Brown's Shoe Fit, just south of 66th and Q in Lincoln.